This is the STRATCOM Info Summary for the last week. While diplomatic attention turned to the upcoming meeting between US President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, European leaders stressed their unity with Ukraine. At the meeting of the Coalition of the Willing in Germany, attended by President Volodymyr Zelensky, participants issued a joint statement reaffirming strong support for Ukraine's sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity. They confirmed readiness to provide security guarantees, including the deployment of troops from individual countries. Allies also emphasizes that there can be no limits on Ukraine's defense cooperation and no Russian veto on its path to EU and NATO membership. At the start of last week, Russian forces tried to advance in the Dobropillia and Pokrovsk directions, using small groups and sabotage units. Several enemy teams attempted to bypass Ukrainian positions near the village of Zolotyi Kolodiaz. Russian propaganda claimed a breakthrough, but Ukrainian defenders quickly detected the enemy and responded. Additional forces were sent by order of the Commander-in-Chief, and reserve units engaged, destroying and capturing enemy troops. The 1st Corps of the National Guard of Ukraine, Azov, along with supporting units, inflicted heavy losses. 151 Russian occupiers killed and over 70 wounded in 2 days. 8 enemy soldiers were captured. Throughout the week, Russia continued shelling civilian areas in Kherson, Sumy, Kharkiv, Donetsk and Dnipropetrovsk regions. Many civilians were killed or injured. Residential buildings, infrastructure, gas pipelines and vehicles were damaged or destroyed. In Sumy region, a drone struck a civilian gas station, burning a man in a car. In Zaporizhia, air bombs hit the central bus station, wounding about 20 people and damaging a hospital and 7 apartment blocks. Ukrainian defense forces also struck important military and fuel infrastructure in Russia. One target was the Saratov oil refinery, a key facility supplying fuel to Russian troops, with an annual capacity of up to 7 million tons of oil. Other targets included the Unecha oil pumping station and the Volgograd oil refinery, the largest in Russia's southern federal district, processing over 15 million tons annually. The Syzran refinery in Samara region, a major facility of Rosneft producing aviation fuel, was also hit. Ukrainian forces also struck the Olia seaport in Astrakhan region, a logistics hub for military goods from Iran. A ship loaded with drone parts and ammunition was targeted. According to the General Staff, deep strikes this year alone caused Russia losses of $74 billion, over 4% of its GDP. Every 10th strike reached more than 1,000 kilometers inside Russian territory. Last week, defense forces destroyed command posts of the 132nd Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the 51st Army in Yanakievo and the 85th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade in occupied Donetsk. A precision strike killed the brigade commander, call sign Dnieper, and 5 staff officers. Commander-in-Chief General Alexander Syrsky reported Russian losses since the start of the year: 1,432 tanks, 3,087 armored combat vehicles, 52 aircrafts, 10 helicopters, 195 multiple-launched rocket systems, and 171 air defense systems. Personnel losses reached 276,300. General Alexander Syrsky thanked Ukrainian defenders for their professional combat work. The Supreme Commander-in-Chief's staff meeting last week made key decisions: direct funding for pickups, trucks and quid bikes, more financing for combat units, simpler equipment write-off procedures, and faster awarding of state honors. Brigades can now buy vehicles, including second-hand ones, through a mechanism similar to drone purchases. Each battalion in combat will receive an extra 7 million hryvnias. President Volodymyr Zelensky also ordered a faster awards process, so that soldiers feel recognition for their actions. Further steps will cover motivation, personal training centers, and communications at battalion and company levels. As part of another prisoner exchange, 33 Ukrainian servicemen and 51 civilians were released from Russian captivity. Many were detained in occupied territories before the full-scale invasion and unlawfully censored between 2016 and 2021. Among the released are defenders from the Mariupol garrison, personnel of the Navy and State Border Guard Service, including 10 officers. All freed Ukrainians will receive full support and assistance. We Will Prevail, produced by the Main Communications Directorate of the Armed Forces of Ukraine.